Daily Words of God. God uses his management of humans to defeat Satan. By corrupting people, Satan brings their fate to a close and disrupts God's work. On the other hand, God's work is the salvation of humanity. Which step of the work God does is not meant to save humanity? Which step is not meant to cleanse people and to make them behave righteously and live out the image of ones who can be loved? Satan, however, does not do this. It corrupts humanity. It continuously carries out its work of corrupting humanity throughout the universe. Of course, God also does his own work, paying no attention to Satan. No matter how much authority Satan has, that authority was still given to it by God. God simply did not actually give it all his authority. And so, no matter what Satan does, it can never surpass God and will always be within God's grasp. God did not reveal any of his acts while in heaven. He merely gave Satan a small portion of authority and allowed it to exercise control over the other angels. Therefore, no matter what Satan does, it cannot surpass God's authority, because the authority that God originally granted it is limited. As God works, Satan disrupts. In the last days, its disruptions will be finished. Likewise, God's work will also be finished, and the kind of humans God wishes to complete will be completed. God directs people positively. His life is living water, immeasurable and boundless. Satan has corrupted man to a certain degree. In the end, the living water of life will complete man, and it will be impossible for Satan to interfere and carry out its work. Thus, God will be able to gain these people completely. Even now, Satan still refuses to accept this. It continuously pits itself against God, but he pays it no attention. God has said, "I will be victorious over all of Satan's dark forces and over all dark influences." This is the work that is to be done in the flesh, and it is also what makes becoming flesh significant. That is, to complete the stage of work of defeating Satan in the last days, and to wipe out all things that belong to Satan. God's victory over Satan is inevitable. Actually, Satan already failed long ago. When the gospel began to spread throughout the land of the great red dragon, that is, when God incarnate began his work, and this work was set in motion, Satan was utterly defeated. For the very purpose of the incarnation was to vanquish Satan. As soon as Satan saw that God had once again become flesh and begun to carry out his work, which no force could stop, it therefore became dumbfounded at the sight of this work and did not dare to do any further mischief. At first, Satan thought that it, too, was endowed with plenty of wisdom, and it interrupted and harassed God's work. However, it did not expect that God would once again become flesh, or that in his work, God would use Satan's rebelliousness to serve as a revelation and judgment for humanity, thereby conquering humans and defeating Satan. God is wiser than Satan, and his work far exceeds it. Therefore, as I have previously stated, The work that I do is carried out in response to Satan's ruses. In the end, I will reveal my almightiness and Satan's powerlessness. God will do his work in the forefront, while Satan will trail behind until, in the end, it is finally destroyed. It will not even know what hit it. It will only realize the truth once it has already been smashed and crushed, and by then it will already have been incinerated in the lake of fire. Will it not be completely convinced then? For Satan will then have no more schemes to employ.